You're telling me they couldn't have found out? They didn't know? The BBC are claiming they didn't know because Edwards didn't tell them. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that. No, sorry, not buying that. Hi, it's me again. Now, I have done a video this week about the BBC's Workplace Culture Review. The last one they did was in 2013. They've just completed another one. And it talks about how many complaints there are and how long it's taken them to deal with it. Your average complaint for bullying or harassment, the BBC is taking 83 days to deal with, which is just weird. I just don't get it. But there's more about it. I thought we could extend that somewhat because I came across this. BBC executives draw a line in the sand after Workplace Culture Review. So they're like, okay, we've said some stuff and that's that then. We can go back to business as usual. Is that what they're saying? Because they don't want to have to deal with anything internally. Any organisation that can let stuff like the Savile pits slide, they're going to sweep anything under it. More minor stuff than that means nothing to them, does it? Anyway, BBC executives Tim Davie and Samir Shah vowed that today is the day we draw a line in the sand after an independent review found some well-known names are not being held to account for poor behaviour. Kel King Surprise. The BBC is dirty to the core. There's only one way to fix the BBC because the current management are completely incapable. They don't seem like they've got any shit left on the shelf, management-wise. They do not know what they're doing. The only way to fix the BBC, shut it down. Shut it down, start it again from scratch, but showing ads. Anyway, in a joint note sent to staff and seen by the PA News Agency, it was said, the BBC is a precious organisation, one where the vast majority of people are proud to work and are happy in their jobs. Let's break that down a bit. The BBC is a precious organisation. Is it? Is it? I mean, God, years ago, yes, it was the envy of the world. Every country in the world wanted to emulate what we had done with the BBC. Yeah, them days is long past, ain't they? The BBC is a disgrace and an embarrassment to the country now. It is not a precious organisation. One where the vast majority of people are proud to work and are happy in their jobs. Notice they didn't say something there that the people of the UK who are taxed £174.50 to fund this filthy organisation, they're not mentioned about being happy, are they? The people who are happy and proud of the BBC are the people who work for the BBC and are riding that gravy train to retirement. Funny that. The report found no evidence of a toxic culture. It also recognises the working environment feels better today than it has in the past. Probably because people are earning more money. However, the report finds that there is a minority of people whose behaviour is simply not acceptable and places where powerful individuals, on and off the screen, can abuse their power. Yeah, that sounds like something some BBC employees would have on their business card, doesn't it? I'm a powerful employee, on or off the screen. I'm going to abuse my power. I wonder where the depths of that has gone that we haven't heard of. You know, we get the odd story about Huw Edwards and stuff like that. He tucked himself up on that by putting a picture of his bare arse all over the internet. If he hadn't completely messed up, would we have heard anything about it? And there's more stories than that, isn't there? This report represents an important moment for the BBC and the wider industry. Why is it an important moment for the wider industry? The wider industry of broadcasters in the UK would be better off if the BBC went tits up. Just would, wouldn't they? From today, we are taking a set of immediate actions designed to change the experience of how it feels to work at the BBC for everyone. The report said there is a minority of people who behave unacceptably and whose behaviour is not addressed. So you know who they are. Deal with it then. Whose unacceptability and whose behaviour is not addressed. Then address it. How hard is it? Why do you have to spend probably millions on a workplace culture review when you know there's a minority of people who have behaved unacceptably and whose behaviour is not addressed? Pull them into HR and address it, and don't take the 83 days, on average, that it is taking you to deal with it. How does it take 83 days? How? How? Even though they are small in number, their behaviour creates large ripples which negatively impacts the BBC's culture and external reputation. Then sack them off. End their contracts, for fuck's sake. The report said the BBC needs to set clear expectations around behaviours, as it should be the gold standard for the industry. Do that, and then the people who don't meet your gold standard, fuck them off. Get rid of them. How hard is this to do? Some of those who exhibit unacceptable behaviour continue to thrive, and in some cases are promoted, whilst live investigations are ongoing or grievances against them are upheld. Edwards faced allegations that he paid a young... Yeah, we know all about this. And there was a further scandal in September 24 when he was handed a suspended... We know all about this. The corporation was informed that Edwards had been arrested in November, but continued to employ the veteran broadcaster until April 24 when he resigned on medical advice. That's just another example of them dragging out. They set themselves the target of dealing with these investigations in 30 days. November to April. That sounds roughly about their 80 days on average that they're taking to deal with stuff. Actually, it's a lot longer than that, isn't it? They've dragged that one out because they did not want to sack him. There is no other reason. There is no other reason to keep paying him your, hopefully not your, licence fee money, apart from the fact that they did not want to sack him. They were protecting him because they like him and he was an important person at the BBC. If the BBC were squeaky clean and cared about their reputation and cared about your money, they would have sacked him off immediately. A statement from the corporation last year said if Edwards had been upfront when asked by the BBC about his arrest, we would never have continued to pay him public money, and that he had undermined trust in the BBC and brought us into disrepute. So now they're blaming Edwards for not telling the BBC all about his arrest. The BBC is supposed to have some of the best investigative journalism in the entire world. You're telling me they couldn't have found out? They didn't know? The BBC are claiming they didn't know because Edwards didn't tell them. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that. No, sorry, not buying that. The review was announced in 2024 after several controversies involving high-profile presenters rocked the corporation, including the sacking of Jermaine Jenas from The One Show after he admitted to sending inappropriate messages to female colleagues. They finally sacked someone. Most people who are on air or on screen are seen as good to work with and respectful, the report said, but added, as expected, we also heard of examples of well-known names not being held to account for poor behaviour. That's why some of these people go to work for the BBC. I swear it must be. It must be. They're just protected, aren't they? The BBC, to their very core, protect these people. I'm not going to read any more of this. It's driving me mental. Absolutely mental. But just for interest, the review heard from around 2,500 employees and freelancers with representations from across the UK and 19 different countries in the world. So that's where the information come from an internal review, and then they polled some employees. This article does go on a bit more. It's just driving me out. If you want to read the rest of it, I always put a link to these down in the description below so you can go and take a look at them yourself. But while you're down there looking for that link, let me know what you think about this down in the comments. They're dirty to the core, aren't they? Or is that just me being weird again? I don't understand it. I've never heard so many other controversies come out of any broadcaster. Have you? It is ridiculous. If you are one of the people who watch this channel that are still paying their licence fee, use the links below and watch the video where I explain all the stuff you can and can't do if you choose not to pay the TV licence fee. You will be amazed at how much you can still actually watch. You know, the best way to get rid of the BBC is to take away their £174.50 from as many people paying it as possible. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. And as always, thanks for watching. While you're down there leaving your comment and that, hit all the buttons and everything as well. Because if you do all that, hopefully I'll get to see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da.